All right. One of them is live. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited for tonight. I'm so excited for our guest speaker. Come on, Instagram.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get Instagram. Well, hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to YouTube. Welcome to our th- two, three, two, three Facebook
Three.
pages, three Facebooks, two Instagrams, Twitch, Rumble, and eventually we will be uploading these to iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But welcome, welcome. We are so glad. We were so excited. We talked to this person last year. We are so excited to talk to her again this year. I think it's gonna become an annual thing to talk to her. What do you think?
Yes. Sorry. My computer's freezing, or you're freezing, one or the other. But we end up and yes, have an amazing guest tonight. It was so lovely. My first time, traveling, I guess solo, was down to, well, I can't necessarily say that because I did end up going to another conference, but first time flying to Texas solo, I'll put it that way. Well, was headed to Hack Your Health, and I had seen this busy lady running around busting her bottom. Never did get to actually say hello in person. It was constantly in passing, and I could see her from a distance. But we had the pleasure of welcoming Robin, the founder and creator of Hack Your Health.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
We're good. I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm really happy to be here. Nice to see you both again.
Yeah,
Um,
it's go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say absolutely. We're glad you're here. Um, yeah, yeah, we're glad. Like I said, we're gonna have to have you back every year because we so enjoy talking to you, but we really enjoy the conference.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate your support.
The conference was amazing. And like I said, it was my first time being there. Sherry had gone before, but it was my first time. And so I really, she tried to like prep me for what I was walking into, what I was going to experience. And I don't know that there's any way of being able to, be prepared for the amazing event that I walked into. I mean, you had amazing speakers and exhibitors, and we were going here and going there because we had the breakout rooms, and it was amazing. But being able, following the event, we kind of were speaking as a community in regards of what our favorite part was, and it's really hard to pick just one part of it because there's so much that it was so amazing about it. Um, I probably spent, I would say, majority of my time on the exhibitor floor, being able to connect and, just actually talk to a lot of them. So a lot of your exhibitors, funny as it will, a lot of your exhibitors are also our affiliates. So we have, that affiliation with them. So when
Mhm.
you support a quality company, when you support them, people like, Black Lotus, Echo Water, Keto Mojo, Faro Skincare. I mean, Sherry uses that all the time. Um, and then the MK supplements. So it's amazing to be able to have that. And many times you feel like, even though there's thousands of people around you, you're the only one that's actually talking to them, right?
Right.
So how do you choose these exhibitors for Hack Your Health, and what is your criteria to ensure they align with the mission of the conference? Because the conference is so huge. It's amazing. So what criteria do you use?
Well, first, thank you for your kind words. And I really appreciate that because I'm kind of in a vacuum. I spend a lot of time working on this all year long with only one or two other people. So, yeah, having feedback like that is important. So I appreciate it. How do I, you know, I'm looking for products that I'm interested in first. So I'm pretty sure that the community that we've built is similar in nature to me and has the same desires that I do. That if I'm going to use any products, they have to be clean, and meaning they have to have clean ingredients, and they're not going to hurt my health because I'm on a health journey. And
Mhm.
so I mean, that's kind of the bottom line. But I mean, I'm also looking for companies that provide an experience. So, for instance, I love having companies at the event that have like a cold plunge or something like that, where people can actually try it out. Because you can watch all the videos in the world online, but until you actually try something, you really don't understand the benefits of it. You can't feel it. I also really like having sauna companies there because you can just go sit in a sauna, and feel what it really feels like to be in a sauna. A lot of people are very far removed from having the ability to have something like that in their daily life. They don't have a place to go where they have something like that to offer. So if they're going to experience it, I want them to be able to experience it at our event, and then they can make an educated decision. Is this something that I really want to have in my home? And then, of course, if they are food products, we have a banned ingredient list. We are building a banned ingredient list for skincare products. Right now, it's pretty much that they have to be whole ingredients that you could eat. So, the skincare is so tricky because there are regulatory bodies that govern clean skincare, but then there are ingredients in products that are labeled quote unquote clean that I wouldn't necessarily say are clean. So, I mean, we're walking a fine line with that. I'm trying very hard to monitor that kind of product. And so we don't have a whole lot of that at the event. Supplements for people who, I mean, there are a lot of people who don't use supplements. I have in my life, periodically, not as something that I take forever for the rest of my life, but during, different periods in my life. The only supplement that I take every day is berberine. So how do I do it? I'm looking to bring in companies that provide an experience, provide products that bring value to people's lives. And I think the experience part is really important. Like if you can watch videos online of someone using red light therapy on their skin, but it's a whole different story if you go sit somewhere or you go to an event like Hack Your Health and you have an opportunity to actually try it. So that's how I do it.
So, I've attended the last 2 years, was in Austin, Texas, and you announced that it would be moving, and you kind of left the teaser, and then and then you finally told everyone it was going to be in Tampa, which happens to be where I'm from. So anyway, what made you pick Tampa? Thank you, by the way, but what made you
Oh,
pick Tampa?
well, first of all, I live just outside of Tampa. And so I found doing this event in Austin every year really hard because I had no local representation. So, I could go there a few times a year, but it was really difficult for me to have time to have feet on the ground and go meet businesses, go to other events to talk about our event. It was really hard for me to market locally. And I mean, I met many people who could help, but I always felt that it needed to be my job to represent the company because there's a story behind this event and I can't really portray that story. I can't share that story that I think resonates with a lot of business owners unless I'm there personally. So, and then Austin is just overrun with health events. There's nothing like this in Tampa. So I thought, I think it's time. It would be better for my business. And I think that, I mean, bringing the business to Tampa and giving back to my own community, I think is important. So I just felt like it was time and I bit the bullet and now we're going to be in Tampa at the convention center. I'm really excited about it. It's totally different experience in Austin, Texas. So I mean, there are not barbecue restaurants on every corner in Florida. There's seafood restaurants on every corner here. But the convention center is right on the water. It's a beautiful view. We were able to get dates. Originally, I was going to do it in September, but someone very wise said to me, "Hey, Robin, remember, what are you going to do about hurricanes?
Hurricane.
Worried about that? I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't even think of that. How could I not know that? I mean, I've been living here since 1972. So I went back to the convention center and we got dates in November. A little late in the year for my liking, but next year it'll be a little bit earlier in November. So I'm excited about that because the weather in Tampa in November is awesome. So people are going to be coming from around the country that are in states that are very cold, and they'll be able to come down here for what is our winter, but be like their spring.
Yeah, you can always tell the tourists when they're at the pools in their bathing suit in November, December, and January and February, and locals are going, "Oh, it's too cold here," you know.
Yeah.
That'll be me. Nebraska's cold. Sorry. But that'll be me. You'll end up and know that this Midwest, you know, gal is enjoying the Florida weather in November.
Yeah, it's beautiful here in November. So I think that it's just going to, we've been waiting for an opportunity to turn this event into more than it's been. And I think having a new venue and being able to share this with a community that doesn't have access to it here is going to make a big difference for us. The other thing is, typically about 45% of our attendees come from outside of, well, when we were in Texas, they came from outside of the state of Texas. So I expect the same this year. And from what I've seen so far in ticket sales, it's bringing pretty true.
That's amazing. Which, speaking of ticket sales, you were gracious enough to end up and give us a discount code. So I'm going to throw that up on the screen. It is BNC 100. So for anyone that wants to purchase a ticket, they are live on the website. You'll just end up and have to go to hackyourhealth.com and you'll be able to purchase those tickets. Again, it's November 14th through the 16th. So make sure you do end up and grab those tickets. I know we talk about it all the time in the BNC community because we're, going to get together the same way that we did last year. So we all talk about the group coming along. But one of the other things that you do have, whether it was when you were in Austin or looking forward to this year, is the amazing lineup, right? There's a lot of great presenters, panelists that you end up and you have that are really renowned experts. So we kind of talked about the skincare, which, Charles Mayfield is one of the panelists. We've had him on our podcast as well as Michael Coomer, Dr. Paul. I've been, a fan of hydrogen water for quite some time, and I use it every day. So having these amazing experts, again, with selecting speakers and looking at where your attendees are coming from, what do you look for in these speakers? Do you look at kind of where the health field is at or where it's going, or the way that we kind of need to transition the health field? What do you look at when you look for panelists and speakers?
Oh, that is the hardest part of what I do. It is so hard. So I have to balance a lot of things. So, and by the way, the speakers that are on our website, we've slowly been adding them to the website. There's still probably about 10 more that we haven't added yet. I don't have a marketing team, so I try and plan, the release of this information slowly so that we have something to talk about on social media. I have such a hard time with this. I have to balance it. I have to balance new and like cutting edge information with foundational information, with who do people want to hear, who will draw a lot of people to the event. I have to balance all these things. I look for things that I am interested in. So mean, right now, the foundation of all of this for me was always nutrition. So the event will always have that component as like a strong majority of what we talk about. And as you know, I started in the keto space, and I have found that when keto became super, super popular, and all the food product manufacturers jumped on board, and there was, a keto label on everything, I feel like the keto community that was struggling to heal was leaning on those products and didn't heal. So they had to take things a step further. And what's happened is a lot of the keto community transitioned to more of a carnivore diet. And the carnivore diet has become very popular because of that, and because so many people have found healing in that. So we have a lot of carnivore conversations happening at the event, carnivore success stories, and how people are navigating the carnivore diet, on the road, in their homes, in their communities. So you'll see that there's a lot of speakers in that space on our event, at our event. I found it really interesting when doctors like Robert Kiltz came into the picture. I had never heard of him before. I mean, not like a few years ago. And he's been working with meat-based diets and fertility for a long time. I had no idea. And I think I definitely want to bring that kind of information to the event, because there's a lot of people struggling with fertility. Of course, that's many years in my history, but a lot of people my kids' age are struggling with fertility, and they don't understand that it's, how diet can affect that. So I think that's really important. And when we talk about things like nitric oxide and talking about, minerals, I mean, there's so many things that we can talk about. And I just want to bring as much information as I can to this event. So when I look for speakers, it's a long way around answering your question. Sorry. I'm looking for people that are going to bring information that I feel that the community needs to hear. And as you both saw when you attended, we have people who are just newly diagnosed, have never paid attention to their health, and the doctor is saying to them, you need to pay attention now before it's too late. We have people that are just at the beginning of their health journey attending this event. And we have people who have been in the space, or not in the space, people who have been in recovery, have healed, and now are attending these events because they're part of the community and it's more like a family reunion for them. So I'm trying to meet the needs of both ends of the spectrum and in the middle. So that's how
go ahead.
That's how I determine the speakers. And I invite very few people. Usually what happens is our speaker application goes live on the website, and they just start flowing in. And I'll tell you, one of the things I hate the most is sending an email saying, thank you for submitting your application, but we're not going to be able to have you, we're not going to be able to honor that this year. Because I know if I were doing it, it would feel personal to me. And because this event is so personal to me, I hate doing it, but I have to. So we only have a certain number of speaking slots, and I won't add any additional spots this year until I see how the ticket sales are doing. Because if we're going to add more speakers, we have to have a lot more people there, because otherwise we end up with empty rooms or not full rooms. And that's not a good use of the speaker's time. And it's certainly not a good use of the financial side of things, that go into this.
And so I know part of your speakers also aren't necessarily in regards of the carnivore diet. I know many of your panelists are, but do you bring in people So for those that don't know, obviously it used to end up and be ketocon. That's why the nutritional focus is the keto, low carb, now into the carnivore. But even someone, like for instance Benazotti, that talks about keto flexing or bringing in healthy carbs. I know you also have Dr. Amy Horniman, which talks about bringing in these carbs. Do you bring that side of the perspective as well, so that people that have struggled with carnivore or struggled with food addiction of full elimination and feeling like they're being very restrictive on a food addiction side, and have needed to add back in or come out of that restriction for various reasons, such as someone like myself, I had to end up and add carbs back in because it was too restrictive. It wasn't fixing the Hashimoto's, which is kind of where Amy comes in with the thyroid side. I didn't do it via supplements, but I did it on circadian and the natural practice. So when we're talking about health and hacking our health from a natural standpoint, it's not always just about nutrition, like you said, red light
Right.
therapy and cold exposure and all of this. Are you bringing people in on that perspective? So if someone is struggling as carnivore and they're having these, great speakers, great physicians telling them, to do it a little maybe more strict or different ratios, to provide kind of that opposing view of, hey, you may have to end up and look at this as well for hormones, for fertility, for thyroid. Um, you
Yeah,
know, is that something that you've also thought about with the speakers? I know, like I said,
I have.
his body does really well with the keto flexing,
Hmm.
and now his new book, Metabolic Freedom. But um,
I
I
do. Yeah. I mean, so like I said, people that attend this event are in a wide variety of different circumstances. So I do recognize that there are people that don't have to or don't want to be as strict as maybe I would be. Um, but if I mean, everybody's different. So what works for me might not work for you or for Sherry. And I figure that's what you're talking about. So yes, I do. I mean, when you look at this, who the speakers are, I mean, Amy is not a low carb person.
Yeah, and that's why I threw her out there, because I know
Yeah,
that Amy Horniman isn't necessarily low carb, and I
yeah.
know there are a
She's
few
my
other.
doctor, by the way.
What's that?
She is my doctor, by the way.
She's
She,
Sherry.
yeah,
She's mine too.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been definitely eye-opening working with her,
yeah.
getting my hormones and thyroid optimal. It's
Hmm.
been a game changer actually, but one of the things is I was so strict. I was militant carnivore, and she was like, well, between her and actually Becky too, they were both going, You got to have good carbs. Your
Yeah.
body needs it." And so it's been a process of adding good carbs back in, because
Hmm.
I had taken it out to the point that even if, let's say, bacon was cured with brown sugar, I wouldn't even buy it. Like,
Right,
I
right.
was so over the top, and I've had to rely. In fact, I had vegetables tonight with, we grilled some chicken thighs. So it was, it's finding that balance, and again, yeah, and because actually we heard Dr. Amy Horniman 2 years ago speak, and last year her and I talked, and it was just a couple months after Hack Your Health that I ended up hiring her. But yeah, yeah, it's been a game changer. But that was the route I had to take for me,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? Some people don't take that route. Like Becky was able to heal herself without going that route. So
I think.
yeah.
Do you feel that the process of adding carbs back in is also a mindset challenge? I found that for myself. So I've done the same thing. I occasionally eat fruit now. I occasionally eat starchy food, starchy vegetables. I do eat vegetables occasionally. Um, but I found that there are certain foods that were triggers for me
Hmm.
that I won't add back in because I can't control them.
Yes.
So, and if I had tried to do that in 2016 when I was first starting on keto, I would have ended up back where I was 10 years prior to that. It would have just been another diet roller coaster. For me, I had to be that strict for a long time to figure out what worked for me and
Hmm.
to turn off the food noise. It took a long time for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still a battle, right? It's
Mhm.
still a battle of, ooh, because I was in the mindset for so long that carbs were bad.
Right.
It didn't matter what carb it was. And I'm not talking about processed junk food. I'm talking about, the normal vegetable, you know, um, and it was all bad. And that was the mindset I had gotten myself into. I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's
And
it's
then once
been
you
a
start on,
process.
right. Once you start, and the diet mentality is once you eat something bad, might as well just keep eating it and then
Right.
start over tomorrow.
Yep.
You know,
Well, and
and that's a hard thing to break.
Becky and I talk about this a lot, that we find in the space because we both have clients, and we have our BNC community, which is the Beyond Nutrition. But everybody wants to know, and the big thing we're seeing on social media, that's the other thing, is everyone wants to know what we're eating, how much we're eating, what are the macros. Everybody's wanting that. And I call it kind of the Weight Watchers effect. Like,
Yeah.
tell me exactly what to eat, how much to eat, and unfortunately, the healing journey that we're all on, it's it like you said earlier, we're all different, and it's a process through figuring out what you're and changing it. So even when you figure it out, your body goes, "Oh, guess what?"
Right.
Right?
You are right. What an interesting experience it's been because when I came into this, it was out of, I'm talking a long time ago when it was out of desperation because I was so desperate to lose weight.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I'm older than both of you, so I mean, I grew up in the. Do you guys know who Twiggy was?
Yes.
So Twiggy was a popular model when I was a kid, and everyone wanted to look like her. She was rail thin, um, and I watched my parents on going from one diet to another, both of them, mostly my father. Uh, but everybody was addicted to food. So we were, they were on a diet during the week and binging on the weekends. And I grew up in that.
Hmm.
So the diet mentality that's just how I led my life. And it didn't get like really out of hand until, I was in my early 30s. And then, I had all kinds of struggles related to insulin resistance. I just didn't know what it was. Uh, but anyway, um, it's hard to break that. And I see a lot of people struggling with it for sure.
Definitely. Now, what I don't know if you can give this away, but what coming from Texas, from Austin to Tampa, what's going to be different? Are you changing anything up? You got some neat stuff happening, like, welcome to Florida, right? We're
Well, a lot of that stuff is still in the works. I can tell you a couple of things that I'm working on. I'm not 100% sure if they'll come through. We're trying to put together a Saturday night cruise on the bay, on Tampa Bay. There is a local cruise company that does dinner cruises. Um, they hosted me last week, and the food is nothing that I would be proud to for anyone that comes to the event to try. The quality is really poor, and as you can imagine, the ingredients are terrible. So I'm trying to work on doing like a post dinner cocktail kind of thing where it's a 2-hour boat ride out to Tampa Bay. That's one of the things that I'm working on. I don't know if it's going to come to fruition. Um, then the setup at the convention center is different than it was in Austin in that we have a separate expo hall from the main stage and the breakout rooms. So we're looking at activities to do in the expo hall, such as yoga, functional movement classes, a cooking demo, probably 2 cooking demos, and workshops. So I'm trying to remember where I decided I was going to do that workshop. So do you know who Bill Schindler is?
We just interviewed him, and I'm excited to see the cheese making.
Yeah, so
demo.
he's going to be doing that. And he and his wife are both speaking. So, I mean, I think that's going to be super interesting because I've never attended anything like that myself. So I think that'll be super interesting. A couple of years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, it might have been 3 years ago, Bill and his wife came to the event, and Bill did a workshop on ancestral hunting tools.
Oh,
It was really interesting. So that was, but I don't think we're going to do that again this year. And we have a lot of companies that are coming this year that are offering experiential type of products. So you were both there this year. Did you try? I mean, when I say this year, I mean it seems like it was just this year, but it was actually last summer. Yeah. Did you try the Align mat?
no.
So that's really cool. So this is a mat that has crystals, tiny pieces of crystals in the mat, different colors, and all the crystals have different frequencies. And there is a heating element attached to this mat where, based on what you want to experience, most of course, it's going to be relaxation. Someone lays on that. It times it, heats it, and vibrates at a certain frequency to help you relax. Really cool.
So is it kind of like I have my PMF mat that has the amethyst crystals. So is it kind of like that where it sends this frequency, and then obviously, the amethyst crystals help with relaxation and stuff?
Probably similar in nature, but not exactly the same. Let's see. So Therasage will be there again this year with their cold plunge and their saunas. I can't even think of all the companies that have already said. About 40 companies have signed up so far, and we have space for about 120. We're also going to have a movement zone again this year for classes, like I said before. And the rest.
Are you going to offer the DEXA again?
I'm not sure if they are going to be here this year or not. We're still working on it. So my guess is they'll probably will be, but since they haven't committed, I can't say. I mean, in Austin, they were all about it. In Tampa, it's a whole different group of people. And, to get them to bring 6 or 7 vans to a convention center, it sucks up their resources. So we're still having those conversations.
Does Tampa have the DEXA? Do they? Okay.
Yeah. I'd really like to have a cryotherapy at the event, but that would require, because of the I can't remember what the stuff that they use to cool the.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, but I'm guessing. I beg your pardon?
Is it liquid nitrogen that they use?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So there would be all kinds of restrictions around that in a convention center. So, so we're, I'd love to see that happen, but there's going to be probably a lot of what was there last year, and then about half of it that's never been there before. So that's what we're just trying to do, is making it. I want to have things there for every person that walks in the door. That's the people pleaser in me. It's a hard nut to crack. But I mean, I have always felt that if you're going to invest your time and your energy to come to an event like this, then you want to leave with new tools in your tool belt and new contacts, new friends, new people, so that you can continue your health journey and then come back next year and celebrate where you are.
So, for those attending the Hack Your Health for the first time, what advice would you give uh, someone to make the most of the experience for that first time?
Wear comfortable shoes.
Yeah.
Um, we release the schedule a couple of weeks before the event, and then we have an event app. So get on the app, look at the schedule on our website, and plan who you want to see. And try to take it easy on yourself, because there's no way you're going to see everything. We do record all of the presentations. So after the show, if there's something that you miss, you can watch it on our site. You do have to purchase the virtual access to it, but at least you'll be able to see it. For me, the best part of this experience is when you first walk in the door, when you get there, because everybody's there for the same reason. Everybody's excited about, they're passionate about being well. And so when you walk in, you feel that. And so I think that for people who are new, that can feel a little overwhelming. So I would say, look for somebody that you know, look for me, say hello to people, try not to stay in your head. It's hard, I get it, but everybody that's there wants to help encourage other people. So I would say just go to everything that you can, get as much information as you can, hook up with as many people as you can, and then take it home and pay it forward.
I would definitely say that I'm always the last 2 years. I was so apprehensive walking in because of
Oh,
what
yeah.
I look like. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I'm not where my head thinks I should be, right?
Right.
I don't. And now that we have a community, we know a lot more people. We interview a lot more people. People now recognize us, and it was very hard to get out of my head to let people take pictures of me, right? Because I don't look like I want to look. Um, but I found it to be the opposite. People were just happy to talk, and
Mhm.
nobody, there just really did, I never felt judged. The judgment came from within me.
Right.
It wasn't anyone around me, and I think that's a huge thing. If people are apprehensive about that, of walking in those doors and wondering what people will think of what you look like, or what journey you're on, or you haven't even started the journey and you're just trying to figure things out. It's quite the opposite. It's like you said, it's not, you get out of your head, and everybody wants to talk.
Mhm.
Everybody, they're so friendly. You're walking past exhibitors and people are just talking, and they turn around and talk to you, and you've cultivated a very good experience in the between the speakers and the exhibitors and everything that you've done a very good job, because it resonates as you're going around talking to people.
Well, thank you. I have to tell you something. Everybody feels like that, whether they look like they do or not. I feel the pressure of being the founder of this event and having to look perfect. And I am far from perfect. So I feel that stress leading up to the event every year. And I just force myself to push through it. Um, I understand what it feels like to feel self-conscious, but if you're at the beginning of your health journey, this is the first step to help yourself. And you have to put yourself first, help yourself.
Absolutely. Once you break through that door, it's like a whole whole new awakening, whole new opening. I mean, it's like finding your people, right? Social media is one thing, but when you're actually there, just the vibe and the feeling and, everything, the atmosphere around you, there isn't a single, unfriendly person, right?
Right.
You can stand and talk to someone for hours. I mean, I did that on the exhibitor floor, and even people that I've known on social media or have followed on social media, we met for the first time in
Mhm.
person.
Right.
It was just, but once you walk in that door, I mean, it is it's just getting to that step, right? And I think a lot of people need to realize and feel comfortable with opening that door.
Yeah.
So what's one thing that I mean, wow, things have changed from when you started. For sure. For for
Yeah,
sure,
they
right?
have.
Yeah. But where are you at in your journey? Because you said, "Look, I started, this is where I was at." Where are you at now in your wellness journey?
Well, I am going to be 63 years old in August.
Wow, you look amazing.
Well, thank you. Um, I right now in my journey, I'm not trying to lose weight anymore. I'm at a comfortable weight. Um, I my focus is working out, not to become a fitness model or anything, just to maintain my muscle, um, maybe build more muscle if I possibly can. It's kind of hard, but it's possible. Um, Walking every day. I moved a year and a half ago to be closer to my grandchildren, who I live a mile from. So uh, I spend a lot of time with them, and they are 4.5, almost 5, and 1. So there's a lot of getting up and down on the floor. And so you're going to laugh at me, but I practice. Like I sit on the floor and like get on my knees, and like I won't use my hands to stand up. I could do everything that I can to keep my legs strong, balance. So at this point in my journey, I am thrilled to not be obsessed with food anymore. I am happy in my body. It could always be better, but it is what it is. I just want to maintain my muscle mass, be able to go to the beach if I really want to, although I fry like a French fry in the sun. So I don't do it very often, but just to know that I could. And just to stay just to be able to stay active and wake up every day feeling well. That's kind of where I am. I'm focusing on wellness. Now, I also am still very conscious of my weight and my size. When I say weight, I really mean size because I have no idea what I weigh. Um, but I'm comfortable with what I see in the mirror now. Can you believe that? I have no idea what I weigh. I should go to the grocery store and just stand on the scale, but I'd rather not know. I can tell when my clothes are feeling too tight. It would either be a really good thing or it would be really bad, and I don't think I want to take the chance. When I
I
go to
can
the
see you. I
when I
can
go to
see
the
you
doctor,
standing at
they
public.
have me stand on the scale, and I just turn my head. I don't even look, and I tell them not to tell me.
I'm thinking you might be committed for being a little crazy for I'm envisioning you standing like on the fruit scale in the produce section.
Oh,
And I'm
no,
like,
we
yeah,
have a grocery
she
store
may.
chain here. We have a grocery store chain here, Publix, where they
Public.
actually have a scale
They do.
there, but I always walk by it really fast.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's about it's huge. Like
Yeah,
everybody walking in to be like, "Hey, that's how much that lady weighs." You
yeah.
know. It's like,
And
yeah,
then I
no.
would be like, well, wait a minute. I have on jeans and shoes. That's 2 pounds right there. I ate breakfast. Okay, I'm definitely 5 pounds lighter than that.
Right. I love
It's so
that you
ridiculous.
what made you give up the scale?
Because of obviously how I'm sharing with you how I react, because of what it was doing to my mental state. It just didn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but um, I didn't want to know. I just wanted to feel good.
You were like me, where numbers spin me out.
Hmm.
Where some people like Becky, she absolutely loves numbers. Like it, she wears an aura ring, and and I can't. I wear a CGM, and the whole time I'm wearing a CGM, I'm looking, I'm constant. Oh, what's the reading? Oh my goodness. Oh, why is it going up? Oh my goodness, it's going up even. And it's just this number spin out game that I have to
Yeah.
play now. Because I work with Dr. Amy, I have been weighing myself once a week. Only once a week. But it's funny how I go to get on this scale on Friday mornings and it's like, oh, I know I gained 30 pounds. Like it's this number spin out is what I call it. I actually, we have a blog, and I actually wrote about how numbers, it's a tricky game. So
Hmm. Yeah, it's just like the leftover crumbs from the diet mentality. Now that we've been talking about it, I'm going to bite the bullet and go to Publix and get on the scale and see what I weigh. Just see what. I mean, I'm the smallest size I've ever been. So, what difference does it make? As long as I have muscle, what difference does it
yeah,
make what the number is? But now I'm kind of curious.
I
Crap.
love that.
You know what? I used to wear an Aura ring too. And I would wake up in the morning and feel so rested and look at the stats. It was like your sleep sucked. I was like, God, I felt great when I woke up until I saw those numbers.
See, and that's where I can disassociate with that, right? Like I can see the numbers and it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It doesn't end up and bother me, but there are certain things that do bother me, and that's where, for instance, like the body dysmorphia. So I can weigh myself and I can see the number. Now I have one that is a bioimpedance scale, so I can also see like the body fat percentage, I can see the muscle and all of that. But that doesn't bother me, but pictures, it's yeah, I do have to do the side by side. I have to be able to visually see that difference. Like you said, you're the smallest size you've ever been. You may end up and have great muscle mass. So I'm not saying to go to Publix and weigh yourself, because that may end up and add more stress to your bucket that you don't necessarily need right now with an
Yeah.
event. Because like you said, you are trying to gain that muscle. You're trying to keep that
Yeah.
for the longevity aspect, to keep track of
Mhm.
and chase after the grandkids. I know how much of a struggle, and um especially if you're carrying the 1-year old, how much of a weight that can be if you're
Sure.
lugging them to put them to bed, or whatever. So just really think that through before you end up it.
I feel like you just let me off the hook. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Quick.
I'm just saying, scale isn't the only measurement. You might want to, do like actual tape measurement, or, something along those lines. Take before, or, like a before picture and put it up against. But yeah, the scale isn't always the only definition.
Sure.
I think what I love about you, Robin, is the fact that you share your personal journey. You're vulnerable enough, and you know that other people resonate with that. And but you're motivational. I mean, what you have created is just amazing out of your own journey. And kudos, because more people need to hear that. Hey, you know. I don't weigh myself, or this is where I'm at in my journey, and I just love the fact that you're vulnerable enough to talk about it. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it.
I love that.
Any,
Anything oh, go ahead, Becky.
that's just what I was
I
gonna
know we
say.
were
Any
going to
any
say the same
final
thing. Yeah.
any final words that you would want to share with anyone listening? Again, Hack Your Health is in November this year, November 14th through the 16th in Tampa, Florida. Um, we do have that discount code. I'll throw that up on the screen again. But yeah, any other final words that you want to share with everyone?
Come and join the party. Hack Your Health is a celebration of life and a celebration of wellness. So if you are passionate about living a long life, uh, not just a long life, but a life being well. If you want to be in your 60s and be well, if you want to be in your 70s and 80s and be well, if you're looking to surround yourself with people who are on that same journey, you definitely need to come.
Absolutely. It is definitely a experience